Hello everyone, it's Marie and welcome to another video. So this video is all about working in Australia, how to get a job, how to make money and how to save while you're on your working holiday in Australia. But before we do, definitely hit the subscribe button to see more videos by me about working online, digital nomad style work, also traveling full-time, working holidays. I've been traveling for 3 years now and I have no plans to stop anytime soon, and there are so many more countries I'm going to be taking this channel to. So yeah, definitely subscribe to follow that journey, and yeah, let's just get into this video. So I recently did a working holiday in New Zealand. I lived there for 1 year and I earned over $35,000 while I was there, which was awesome. And I managed to save about $17,000 in my bank surplus on top of paying bills and rent and stuff. So I had a pretty good time when I was in New Zealand, and I thought that when I came to Australia it would be just as easy. And personally I did find it a little bit harder to find work here in Australia than I did in New Zealand, and that was just because I was making a few mistakes. Firstly, I was treating Australia the same as I treat New Zealand. The types of work and jobs and roles I had in New Zealand that made me a lot of money and saved me a lot of money don't really apply here in Australia. And I am going to make a totally separate video on the differences between New Zealand and Australia, because believe it or not, they're very different countries with very different, you know, types of work, types of everything. Like they're just totally different in so many ways. They're completely uncomparable. But yeah, so I did struggle a little bit when I first came to Australia. So I'm giving you this video with a lot of advice from experiences that I've personally had in being successful landing jobs and being unsuccessful landing jobs. So without further ado, let's get on to the first point. So the first thing I want to say is avoid applying for tons of online application jobs. For example, going on backpacker boards and all that kind of stuff, because honestly, if you apply for a job online with the application, you can guarantee there's going to be 1,000 other backpackers also applying for that same online job. I personally must have applied to hundreds and hundreds of online jobs and I never got any of them. This is an exception, obviously, if you maybe want to work at Luna Park here in Sydney and you go on the official Luna Park website and you apply through their recruitment system. Yeah, that could be more successful because less people are going straight to their website. But if you see something advertised on a backpacker boards group, honestly, in my experience, you're less likely to get a job. What I do say you should do is take to Facebook groups. Every single job I got in Australia has been through Facebook groups. I just worked on Hayman's Island on the Whitsundays for a month and I got the job through a Facebook group. Somebody saying they needed some general labourers, that she left a phone number, so I called her up immediately and I sold myself over the phone to her. I sent her my CV. I knew what I was obviously doing because I had some experience in this field anyway, and I ended up getting the job very rapidly, like very quick, just with a phone call. And the same goes for the job in the cattle station that I'm just about to start. I'm just about to work, do my 88 days in a cattle station in Queensland, Australia, and I got this job via Facebook. Once again, it seems like getting jobs via Facebook is really good because you're contacting the person directly and you can make sure you're the first one in. What I tend to do is I scroll the groups very regularly, like multiple times per day. For example, you see an ad saying looking for a station hand position, contact us, send your CV, whatever. What I do immediately is I tell them I've messaged them, I PM them or email them with my CV, and then I ask them immediately for their phone number. I say, is there a number that I can call you on? I think the key is having a phone number. If you can call them and talk to them, then you can sell yourself over the phone. I also find that people like to hear a voice, because if you hear someone's voice you can kind of relate with them a bit more and you can see them as a real person, as a real character, and you can tell a lot about a person just through talking to them. There's been lots of jobs actually that I've applied for, and once I've spoke to the boss on the phone, it's put me off the job because the way they speak, their attitude, their way of talking is sometimes actually made me not want to work for them. And the same could apply for an employer. If you get on with them, if they like the sound of your voice, like if you speak with warmth and with genuine, you know, personality, they will hear that through the phone. I think they're more likely to give you the job when they hear you talking, when you can answer the questions more sincerely and with more passion than if they just have an email from you, which could match every other email they've received from everyone. Ring them, call them, talk to them, sell yourself that way. Another thing that a lot of my friends have done that have managed to get them work is make an ad on Gumtree. I think this is a bit better for guys, like if you're looking for labour work or traffic controller work and you put an ad on Gumtree saying looking for work, then they'll directly contact you. Because I find if you're on Gumtree and you apply for a job, it's like the backpacker boards, you and 5,000 other backpackers are applying for the same job. But if you make your own personal ad, then often people will come directly to you because they want to hire you, and then you're up against much less competition. This doesn't always work for girls though, and some of you might disagree with this, but trust me, this is a thing. If you're a girl and you make an ad on Gumtree saying you want work, you can guarantee you'll get a lot of guys asking you to give them massages. There's a girl I actually met in my hostel a few days ago who made a Gumtree ad, and she got so many messages, I saw them myself, from guys asking her to give them like massages, if you know what I mean, and asking her to be their personal assistant, and it even said to hook up with the boss in the email. I'm not joking, that's what it was said. I just think it's a little worse if you're a girl making them kind of ads, which is also another thing I want to say quickly in this tip video. Be careful and check things out. As you know, I'm going to a cattle station soon, but I've really checked this out thoroughly. I've made sure that the lady that recruited me on Facebook is like a real person. I've checked through her friends list and stuff. I've also spoke to another girl who did the job previously who has said it's okay. I've checked this girl out, she's genuine and normal, if you know what I mean. I've checked out the location and the address, that it is actually a registered cattle station, and I've checked out exactly where it's located and all the information that I need, found like their landline to contact them in emergencies, that kind of thing. It's really important to check things out yourself when you're a solo female or even a guy backpacking on your own in Australia. It's not a dangerous country, but it is dangerous if you don't take the normal precautions that you should take. I have personally met a few girls now who have had like nightmare experiences on cattle stations, i.e. they've gone to it with a farmer in the middle of nowhere. They've been told it's like a farm that's got lots of backpackers working there, and that they're going to be helping out and assisting or whatever, and then it's ended up being the guy wants another wife, he wants to like hook up with you, he'll ask you to kiss them, or like there's no door on the bathroom, or there's cameras, or I definitely have heard some bad stories. And I'm not saying that this is because it's Australia, I'm just saying that there are some creeps out there anywhere in the world, and when there's female backpackers traveling solo, some of those creeps like to take advantage. So if you're a girl, and especially if you're a girl, I know if you're a guy the same applies, I'm not trying to be sexist here, I'm just saying if you're a girl and you're traveling alone, check it out, because there are some creepy old men out there who do want to kind of get a female backpacker into their farm on their own, and yeah, try and hook up with them and stuff. It's a thing. Just check it out, make sure it's really, you know, where you're going is real and legit and that kind of thing. If there's one thing I can say when doing your 88 days, is that. And this video definitely isn't about 88 days, I'm making a totally different video about that, so I'm just gonna skim this last point. But I personally suggest you don't go to working hostels. They are an option if you want to get some fruit picking work or something, like Mariba near Cairns, or like Majura near Melbourne, or Bundaberg, which is one place I'd say don't go. But if you want to get some work quick and fast, yeah, you could go to a working hostel. They do give you work and you will get work, but I mean, I was in Bundaberg for just a few days and I didn't stick around because I think Bundaberg's probably one of the worst. But the amount of people I spoke to who told me they went there 4 months ago and they're leaving with less money than they came. For me, working for 4 months somewhere doesn't require me to lose money. You know, sometimes you're earning like $40 a day to pick fruit all day because it's piece rate, and it's just not ideal at all. When I was in New Zealand, piece rate work was very well paid. Here it's just not, so I would suggest don't do piece work. Make sure you find work that is hourly. And another thing I could say is make sure you're getting the fair minimum hourly wage. Don't go taking jobs for like $15 an hour. That's not minimum wage. Take jobs and get paid what you know you're worth. There's a lot of places that want to pay backpackers nothing because they know you're desperate and they know you don't have any money and you're desperate for your 88 days, but seriously, don't take on the crappy jobs because then no one's gonna stop it happening. Basically, take on jobs you know you're worth, and yeah, basically don't take crappy paid jobs for no reason. And obviously the last point, which is another obvious one, especially if you're in cities, is do the old-fashioned take in CVs thing. You know, you can print out your CV probably at your hostel or at a library or somewhere, take a CV and a cover letter into restaurants and bars and shops and wherever you want to work, talk to the boss, you know, ask to actually see the manager when you take it in, and yeah, actually apply for the job that way, actually with a CV. That's probably the best way to get a job in the city. For me personally, taking in CVs and applying via Facebook are the two best ways that I've personally gotten jobs, but there are literally so many ways to get jobs in Australia. So I'm probably going to write a blog post giving out even more information. I'll link it down below. But yeah, this is just my quick top tips on finding work in Australia that have personally worked and been successful for me. The main thing, as I said, talk to someone on the phone. If you hand in a CV, speak to the person face to face. Make sure that boss knows who you are as a person. Don't just be one of the other 100 that are handing in a CV and you literally don't look like anything to them. Make sure they see you, make sure they speak to you, make sure they hear you, make sure you have time to sell yourself. That's like the most important thing to me, I think, for getting a job, and it's never failed me yet. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed these tips. I hope they gave you some kind of ideas on how you could find work in Australia. If you have any additional tips that I didn't mention that you think worked for you, leave a comment below to give other people advice on how to find work here too. And now it's starting to get a bit dark, so I'm probably going to end this video here. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please give me a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe, as I said earlier, to see more videos about working online, digital nomad life, traveling, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, without further ado, I'll end this here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.